everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia Sports. Again, if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, it will be amazing to have you around our community. And don't forget, you can get your daily dose of Philadelphia sports coverage from myself and all of our team at phillysportsnetwork.com. Now, usually this is where I promote our Flick Sports group chat. And don't get me wrong, I'm still going to do it, but with a very special reason. Number one, we are close to 500 members. We've got 476 Eagles fans right now in our group chat, thriving and making friends and taking part in giveaways. And on that note, we have got something very, very special. Now, somehow, some way, I won a virtual autograph session with Dallas Goedert through Wawa, courtesy of my friend Jericho. Now, just want to say there, I always knew Wawa was better than Sheets. Having never been to either, we knew that. So what this consists of is that I email an image to Wawa, Dallas Goedert signs it on a Zoom call, which I'm a part of, and then that email gets sent back to me with the autographed version. So what I'm going to do is make it available for download for all of you guys in our group chat app. So you get a free image signed by Dallas Goedert. The image I've selected is from the Eagles-Jags game. I can't use any that are copyrighted, so it had to be one I've taken, which photography is not the best, you know, I'm no Alex McIntyre. Dallas Goedert, of course, scored a touchdown in that game, which kind of adds an extra level of sentiment to the image. If you want it, all you've got to do, download the Flick Sports group chat down below. I'll make a thread, you can download it there, have it as your background, print it off, put it on the wall. It's a free autograph from Dallas Goedert that hopefully will have a little bit of a personalised message specifically for anyone in the app with a bit of luck, okay, depending on what strings I can pull. But if you want it, Flick Sports group chat, PSN Eagles Nation is the chat to join. Just download it, link in the description. It will take you straight to our group and just vibe with the boys and the girls and everyone in there. And I'll make sure you get that image in the next few days as soon as I get my hands on it. But I want to start this episode off not with the Eagles. I want to start it off with the Philadelphia Union because they deserve the spotlight in this week's episode. They have won their first ever trophy. The first piece of silverware in team history was won this weekend when the team hoisted the MLS Supporters Shield. Now, for those of you that don't follow soccer, have no interest in soccer, don't know what it is, that's fine. But I do think that we have to acknowledge the fact that soccer is one of the fastest growing sports in America, and Philadelphia are the best team in the MLS at the moment. And even if you don't follow it, I think it's just cool to show some support for it, you know? Like, the Union are a really, really exciting team right now. The Supporters Shield is awarded to the team who have the most points at the end of the regular season, the entire MLS, which is divided into Eastern and Western Conference, as you guys know, similar to most sports in America. But the fact that it is of everyone and they've won the Supporters Shield, that's really cool. Now, there is one more cup to play for. They have to go through the playoffs. They have to win again and again and again and make sure they hoist one more cup. Brendan Aronson, the wonder kid that is on his way to Red Bull Salzburg, said he wanted to help Philadelphia win silverware before he leaves. I'm a bit emotional, he's done that, but can he get one more cup, guys? If you've never watched soccer, now's the time to do it, okay? Our writer, Ricky Amandea, went down to the Sub, the stadium where the Union played down in Chester, and said that it felt like, even though you had social distancing measures and 7,500 fans there, it felt like an Eagles game in terms of atmosphere. So let's just drive some support to the Union because they deserve it, they're thriving right now, and the team itself was willed into existence by fans in the city. Like, had it not been for Philadelphia fans pounding the table, making noise, and groups like the Sons of Ben standing up and wanting their voices heard, there would be no soccer team in Philly right now. So not only do they have one, it's winning. It's a great vibe. They're easily the most successful team in the city right now. So just a massive shout. And to everyone at the Union as well, they've been so accommodating of us. That was the first team that actually accredited Philly Sports Network and recognised us as a media outlet, gave us credentials to games, gave us the opportunity to talk to players. They've been so great to us. Just nothing but absolute love from all of us here at PSN. And just go win it all, boys. Just go and win it all. But on to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is what most of you are here for, I'm sure. They are, believe it or not, getting healthy. I know, it's hard to believe. I'm struggling to comprehend it myself. But somehow, some way, this team are getting healthy, and they needed that bye. They really needed that bye week. Yes, they had the win over the Giants, and then they somehow beat the Cowboys, but they needed that break, just a total reset, and the bye week came right in the middle of the season, 50% of the way through. The perfect time to hit reset, recalibrate, address what's gone wrong, what's gone right, because there have been a few bright spots in the first half of the season, and then just full send the last 8 games to try and secure a playoff spot. And this bye week couldn't have gone much better. The Giants beat the Washington football team, which means that somehow, some way, every NFC East team not named Philadelphia is on 2 wins. It means that as of right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are 1.5 games clear. If Washington had won, they'd only have the tie in their favour, but they didn't, so they have a win in their favour. You love to see it. Obviously, thoughts to Carl Allen. He suffered a really gut-wrenching injury to his ankle that threw shades of what Dak Prescott suffered a few weeks ago. You never want to see a rival QB go down. Bad news is on that front, Alex Smith came in after a monumental comeback. Like, let's not forget what that man has been through. Goes back into the game and almost leads a Washington comeback. Completed 75% of his passes. The guy was unreal. The Eagles do have to play him one more time. Let's just hope that was a bit of a freak occurrence and that he cools off a little bit. And then the Cowboys started great against the Steelers and then blew it, which was fantastic because I surely wasn't the only person sat there panicking a little bit. Maybe because I bet on the Steelers, but mainly because the Cowboys were just looking half decent with Garrett Gilbert at quarterback of all people. Put up points against that Steelers defense, and then Big Ben leads the comeback in the second half. You love to see it. And from an NFC East standpoint, couldn't have gone better. Now from an Eagles standpoint, they get Isaac Seumalo back this week. He was given a 21-day practice window. He should be looking to return this weekend against the Giants before the schedule begins to pick up a little bit. But that in itself is a massive, massive bit of news for the Eagles, because as we know, that guard position has been, well, it doesn't define the word guard, does it? It's been more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Door on a hinge without a lock, or just a flappy bit of wood. Just doing that. Hasn't been great, and that's not anyone in particular's fault. They've suffered a slew of injuries. Matt Pryor then got injured. Suro Peta played. Nate Herbig's had to play. Guys that have had very, very little NFL experience, having to go up against teams like Baltimore and Pittsburgh. It isn't ideal, and I think they've done as well as they can. Like, you can't be expecting miracles from every offensive lineman just because Jeff Stoutland exists. Now, Seumalo, in my opinion, was one of the more quieter performers in 2019. He was really under the radar, but I thought he had a great season. I thought he had a really strong season, under the radar, subtle, didn't allow a lot of pressure, didn't allow a lot of sacks. Open into 2020 was a little bit of a different story, but against Washington, I think the entire line had a bit of a different story. So getting Seumalo back is an instant upgrade, and all of a sudden, that offensive line is looking a bit beefy. I assume Jason Peters at left tackle, Seumalo at guard, Kelsey at centre. Those three have worked together last season. That chemistry is so vital. It has been lacking all season long. On the right, I'm assuming things might change up a little bit at guard. Mailata said he hasn't had experience working there, so he'll probably back up Lane Johnson, who should return to form as your team's right tackle, with Matt Pryor back at right guard. So it's not a bad line. Like, that has been a lot worse. It has been a lot worse, and they've got a game against the Giants, which is great. And another player returning against the New York Giants is, believe it or not, Miles Sanders, which is huge. It is absolutely huge. Sanders had close to 500 yards through as many games. Before he picked up that injury, he had back-to-back 74-yard runs, and both of those came against elite defenses. One against the Steelers, one against the Ravens. Sanders hadn't been as dynamic this year. He hadn't been used in the receiving game as much, but I do think he had a really strong start to the year as a running back, as the lead rusher without a committee around him. It was very much the Miles Sanders show, and while there was still some growth in his game, the fact that the offensive line was trudging a bit, it was really struggling with injuries, you can't blame him for maybe not looking as flashy and as elite as he did last year as a rookie. So I think we are going to see a very much second coming of Miles Sanders this time round. And if you want a little bit more positive injury news, Alshon Jeffrey's back, so that's good. But you know, life's full of balances, right? Every action has a reaction. The action, the Eagles get healthy. The reaction is that their schedule sucks. They've got the Browns, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Saints, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, and the Washington football team. So there's a lot to play for. There's going to be some very interesting games for sure. We're going to break down a second half of the season schedule tomorrow, so make sure you stick around for that one. But that just about does it, I think, for this week in Philadelphia sports. Last week in the bar, I know there wasn't a lot of content on our YouTube channel. I needed to take some sort of time to just unwind a little bit, but just a massive thank you for your support again, guys. You've been unbelievable so far this year. We wouldn't really be here without you. It means absolutely everything that in a time like this where there is so much stress and uncertainty, that you guys have our backs. It means the world. It really does. And we're going to post some soppy stuff towards the end of the year, but just a massive thank you for constantly checking out our content. From myself, Liam Jenkins, if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you again soon.